The riverside ballroom was transformed into an elegant celebration space. 500 guests in formal attire filled the venue for my parents' 40th wedding anniversary. Crystal chandeliers illuminated tables draped in ivory linens, centerpieces of white roses and gold accents creating the sophisticated atmosphere Mom had envisioned. I stood near the bar in my simple black dress from Macy's clearance rack, holding sparkling water while my family entertained their friends and business associates. Sophia. Mom's voice carried across the room, that tone that meant she'd already explained my situation. Come meet the Harrisons. They're asking about you. I navigated through clusters of celebrating guests, my credentials badge from the catering company tucked in my clutch. Nobody questioned why I had venue access credentials. They probably assumed I was helping with setup. Mrs. Harrison, Mr. Harrison. I smiled politely. Your mother tells us you work in the food industry? Mrs. Harrison's diamond bracelet caught the light as she sipped champagne. Yes, I'm in commercial food service. Still. My brother Jason appeared with his wife Rebecca, both dressed like they'd stepped out of a luxury magazine spread. Jason ran Valentine Commercial Properties, managing the family's real estate portfolio worth $90 million. Sophia's been working in restaurant kitchens for 9 years. Started as a line cook, worked her way up to, what are you now? Sous chef. Something like that, I said quietly. She went to culinary school, Mom added, trying to be supportive. Not Le Cordon Bleu like we'd hoped, but the community college program gave her good basic training. Basic training is important, Jason agreed. Even if she didn't pursue fine dining. Not everyone can handle the pressure of real restaurant work. Polite laughter from the assembled guests. Rebecca leaned in conspiratorially to Mrs. Harrison. Sophia works at that casual dining place on 5th Street. You know, the one with the burgers and fries? She's been there for years. How stable, Mrs. Harrison said with the polite disinterest of someone who'd never worked service industry. We keep telling her she could do more, Dad said, joining our circle with his signature scotch. At 68, Thomas Valentine commanded respect. Self-made commercial real estate mogul, community pillar, generous philanthropist. Jason offered her a position managing our company cafeteria. $60,000 a year, benefits, normal hours. She turned it down. I prefer my current work. Working nights and weekends at a burger joint? Dad shook his head for Mr. Harrison's benefit. Sophia has a degree in culinary arts. We hoped she'd open a restaurant, become a chef, make something of herself. Instead, she's been cooking other people's recipes in someone else's kitchen for nearly a decade. I like what I do. Do you? Jason gestured around the elegant ballroom. Because events like this is what real success looks like. Mom and Dad celebrating 40 years, 500 guests, top-tier venue. This is the kind of thing you could be involved in if you'd taken the opportunities we offered. My phone buzzed in my clutch. I ignored it. Speaking of food, Rebecca said brightly, the appetizers tonight are incredible. Mom, who did you hire for catering? Valentine Signature Events, Mom said proudly. They're supposed to be the best commercial caterer in the region. Cost us $85,000 for tonight, but nothing but the best for our 40th anniversary. $85,000? Mrs. Harrison's eyebrows rose. That must be quite the menu. 5 courses, past hors d'oeuvres, dessert display, full bar service, Dad listed. We interviewed 4 different catering companies. Valentine Signature Events had the most impressive portfolio. Corporate events, weddings, galas. They've catered for the governor, major corporations, high-profile celebrations. The irony, Jason laughed, is that they're called Valentine just like us. No relation obviously. But still funny. My phone buzzed again. Then again. That's probably the restaurant calling about her schedule, Rebecca said. Sophia works weekends. Even tonight she probably has a shift later. Actually, I took tonight off, I said. Well, that's good. You should be here celebrating with family. Mom patted my arm. Even if you can't cook anything fancier than ramen noodles at home. The group laughed. It was a running family joke. Sophia, the culinary school graduate who burned instant ramen in her apartment. Remember when she tried to make Thanksgiving dinner 3 years ago? Jason reminded everyone. The turkey was raw in the middle and the mashed potatoes were lumpy. I was experimenting with timing, I said quietly. With a disaster, Rebecca added. We ended up ordering pizza. Our chef sister couldn't even handle a simple holiday meal. The event coordinator appeared at the edge of our circle, tablet in hand, looking slightly stressed. She glanced around the group, her eyes landing on me. Recognition flickered across her face. "I'm so sorry to interrupt," she said, "but I need to speak with Ms. Valentine urgently." "I'm Mrs. Valentine," Mom said. "Is everything all right with the food service?" "Actually, I need to speak with Sophia Valentine." The coordinator turned to me. "Ms. Valentine, we have a situation with the final headcount. Can you approve the adjustment?" The conversation around us stopped. Final headcount? Mom looked confused. Why would Sophia need to approve anything? The coordinator's confusion was genuine. Because Valentine Signature Events is her company. She needs to authorize the additional 50 guests before we proceed with plating. The champagne flute slipped from Rebecca's hand, shattering on the marble floor. "Her company?" Jason's voice came out strangled. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone and opened my business management app. We had the headcount confirmed at 450 last week. "What's the current total?" 502, the coordinator said. "Should we proceed with the full service or adjust?" "Proceed with full service. Bill the overage to the standard contract terms." "Thank you, Ms. Valentine." The kitchen staff wanted confirmation before final plating. She hurried away. The circle of guests stared at me in absolute silence. Mom's voice barely registered. "That woman just called you Ms. Valentine. She said Valentine Signature Events is your company." "Yes. Valentine Signature Events. The catering company we hired. The one we paid $85,000. Dad's Scotch glass trembled. "That's your company?" "I founded it 9 years ago. We provide commercial catering services for corporate events, weddings, and private celebrations throughout the state." Jason grabbed my phone, staring at the app screen. This shows tonight's event. Valentine Anniversary Gala. Contract value $85,000. You're catering Mom and Dad's party?" "Yes." Rebecca pulled out her own phone, frantically searching. Valentine Signature Events. Corporate catering and event management. Founded by Sophia Valentine. She looked up, her face pale. "You own this company?" "Yes." "The burger restaurant Mom started is where I test recipes and train new kitchen staff. I own it. The casual dining concept is part of my business portfolio. We use it as a training facility for catering employees." The silence spread through the nearby tables, other guests turning to watch our family drama unfold. Dad found his voice. "How long have you owned a catering company?" 9 years. I started with small events, built up a client base, expanded into corporate catering. Last year we did $47 million in revenue. The number hit like a physical blow. $47 million? Jason sat down heavily in the nearest chair. Dollars. Yes. This year we're tracking toward $53 million. Mr. Harrison pulled out his phone. Valentine Signature Events. I'm looking at your website. Your client list includes Harrison Industries. That's my company. Yes. We've catered your last 3 quarterly board meetings and your company holiday party. I've paid you over $200,000 in the past year. $237,000, I corrected quietly. Mom's hand covered her mouth. "All those times we worried about your job security, your lack of ambition. You were running a multimillion-dollar company?" "Yes. But the apartment you live in, the car you drive." "The apartment is close to my commercial kitchen facility. The car is practical for transporting supplies and visiting client sites. I also have a company vehicle, but I prefer the flexibility." Jason was scrolling through his phone with shaking hands. "Your facility is in the industrial district. 15,000 square feet. Commercial-grade kitchens, event planning offices, storage for equipment and supplies. 18,000 square feet now. We expanded last year." Rebecca's voice trembled. "How many employees?" 73 full-time. Another 140 part-time event staff we call in for large functions like tonight. Dad set down his scotch. 73 employees. 47 million in revenue. And we thought you were making $12 an hour flipping burgers. I do flip burgers. When I'm training new grill cooks. I also design 5-course menus for 500-person galas, negotiate contracts with corporate clients, and manage a team that handles everything from intimate dinners to events for 2,000 people. The event coordinator returned with another staff member carrying champagne. Ms. Valentine, the first course is ready to serve. Should we proceed on schedule? Yes, thank you. They disappeared toward the kitchen, leaving my family staring at me. Why didn't you tell us? Mom whispered. I tried. 9 years ago, I invited you to the grand opening of my catering facility. You said you were busy. 6 years ago, when I landed my first corporate contract worth $500,000, I sent you the press release. Nobody mentioned it. 3 years ago, when you hired Valentine's signature events for your company holiday party, I waited to see if you'd notice my name on the contract. Jason pulled up his phone again. Valentine Commercial Properties has used your catering service for 8 different events. We've paid you over $400,000. $463,000. Your company represents about 1% of my annual revenue. 1%. He laughed without humor. We've given you $500,000 and it's 1%. I have 87 regular corporate clients. Medical facilities, law firms, tech companies, real estate developers. Plus another 200 occasional clients for weddings and private events. Mrs. Harrison was reading something on her phone. There are articles about you. Regional Business Journal did a feature on emerging entrepreneurs in hospitality services. They interviewed you about building a catering empire. 2 years ago, yes. We never saw it, Mom said. Because you assumed any article about Sophia Valentine in the food industry was someone else. You never looked close enough to see my photo, read my company's story, understand what I'd built. Dad's face had gone from pale to gray. The Thanksgiving disaster. When the turkey was raw and we ordered pizza. I was testing a new cooking method for our corporate menu. It failed. I learned from it and adjusted. That's what running a food service business requires. Constant testing, learning, improving. You let us think you couldn't cook, Rebecca said. You assumed I couldn't cook. I let you assume because every time I tried to share my success, you treated it like delusional fantasy. It was easier to let you think I burned ramen than to keep defending my achievements to a family that refused to see them. Servers began moving through the room carrying the first course. Seared scallops with citrus beurre blanc, microgreens and edible flowers. The presentation was flawless. This is your menu, Mom said, staring at her plate. You designed this. Yes. You told my event coordinator you wanted elegant but approachable. Classic with contemporary touches. This menu represents 3 months of planning and recipe testing. Jason took a bite, his expression complicated. This is incredible. Thank you. My executive chef worked with me on the final presentation. We wanted to make sure everything met our quality standards. Dad looked around at the 500 guests being served simultaneously, the coordination of servers, the precision of timing. This entire operation, you're running all of this? My staff is running it. I trained them. I created the systems. I oversee the execution. But good catering means empowering your team to deliver excellence without constant oversight. The coordinator approached again. Ms. Valentine, the photographer wants to know if you'd like photos with your family before the main course? That's up to them, I said. Mom stood abruptly. Sophia, we need to talk. Privately. After dinner service is complete. My priority right now is ensuring your anniversary celebration goes perfectly. That's what you paid for. We paid you, Dad started. $85,000 for premium catering services. You'll get exactly what the contract promises. 5 courses, full bar service, dessert display, professional staff, flawless execution. What you do with that experience is your choice. Jason's phone rang. His property manager, probably about a different event. He declined the call, still staring at me. What do you want from us, Sophia? An apology. I want you to enjoy your anniversary celebration. I want you to experience what Valentine's Signature Events delivers to clients every single week. And then maybe, I want you to understand that the daughter you pitted for 9 years built something remarkable while you weren't paying attention. We were paying attention, Rebecca started. You were watching what you wanted to see. The struggled culinary school graduate. The burger flipper with no ambition. The sister who burned Thanksgiving dinner. I gestured to the perfectly coordinated service happening around us. You never saw this because you decided who I was before asking who I'd become. The second course arrived. Lobster bisque with cognac cream and herb garnish. Conversation at other tables hummed with appreciation. "This is the best meal I've had in years," Mr. Harrison said. "No wonder your reputation is stellar." Dad looked at him. "You've used Valentine's signature events?" "For 3 years. Sophia's company handles all our major events. Professional, reliable, innovative menu design. We tried other caterers. None compare." "How did we not know?" Mom's voice broke. "Because you never asked," I said quietly. 9 years, hundreds of events, millions in revenue, and you never once sat down and actually asked me about my work. You saw kitchen staff uniforms and assumed failure. The ballroom had gone quiet, nearby tables listening without pretending otherwise. "We made mistakes," Dad said finally. "You made assumptions. For nearly a decade. Despite invitations, despite success, despite every opportunity to see what I was building." Jason set down his fork. "What happens now? Now you finish your anniversary dinner. You celebrate 40 years of marriage. You enjoy the 5-course menu your daughter spent 3 months perfecting." I stood, smoothing my clearance rack dress. "After that, we can discuss whether you want a relationship with the real Sophia or if you preferred the imaginary failure you created." "Sophia," Mom reached for my hand. "Enjoy your celebration. The main course is filet mignon with truffle demi-glace. It's exceptional." I walked toward the kitchen, aware of 500 pairs of eyes following me. The daughter who couldn't cook. The culinary school disappointment. The woman who just revealed she'd been catering her family's life for years while they pitted her. My phone buzzed. Text from Jason: "We need to talk about this. Please." Another from Mom: "After dinner. We'll discuss everything." I didn't respond. After dinner was soon enough. I had a service to oversee, a reputation to maintain, and a family to decide whether I wanted to let back in. The kitchen doors swung open. My executive chef looked up. "Ms. Valentine, the main course is plating beautifully. Ready for service in 8 minutes. "Perfect. Let's show them what we do." Because that's what I'd been doing for 9 years. Showing excellence to everyone except the people who refused to see it. Tonight they'd finally gotten a taste.